If you're American and you make the pronunciation mistakes I'm going to talk about, French people are going to have a really hard time to understand you. So, no worries, in this video, I'm going to show you the 10 most common mistakes Americans make, and I'm going to show you how to fix them in a very simple way. Okay, let's start. First of all, we have the letter A. The letter A can be pronounced in many ways in English, but in French, when you have the letter A followed by a consonant, it's always going to be the same sound. For example, when you say prepare in English, we say prépare. So you have to open your mouth. Ah, prépare. For example, organize, organize. You have that sound, but we say organiser, organiser. See how I open? Then we have, let's see, ball in English becomes bal in French. So you have this open ah sound in cat, for example. So that would be the closest sound. Okay, so just remember when you have the letter A, you always open ah. Okay, then we have the letter I. So you say I in English, we say E, E. So you have to smell and you don't open your mouth, right? Your mouth. What do I have? I have, for example, Paris. We say Paris. Or magic. We say magique. E. So you need to smile to make that E sound. Okay? E. Then we have two types of O's. We have small O and a big O. So most of the time you're gonna hear the small O. So when you see the letter O or the letters AU combined or the letters EAU combined, you're gonna make that sound O. So see how it's small and short? O. So it's not gonna be A or O, O. For example, here I have photo in English. I say photo, O, O. Then if you want to say in English, it's my fault, we say c'est ma faute, haute. And then beautiful, we say beau, o. Okay, so that's the small o. And after that, we have the big O. So the big O is going to be oh. You're going to open your mouth. And you're going to have, usually you have that sound when you have an O and an R right after. For example, remember that word that I told you? Organize, we say organise, not organise. Okay? So OR usually makes that oh. Okay? Another example would be pork in English. We say porc, porc. Okay? Then, okay, so that's with the letter R. And then you can have that sound also when you have that O followed by a consonant sound at the end of the word. Okay? For example, here I have note in English. You're going to say nut in French because of that t at the end. Okay? That's it for small o and big O. So now let's talk about the difference between U sound and OU sound. What's the difference? Okay, OU is very similar to the double O sound that you have in English. Okay, so when you pronounce that OU, your tongue is kind of like in the hanging in the center of the mouth. Okay, so let's imagine that this is your teeth. Okay, this is the bottom teeth here. Okay, this is your tongue. So when you say ooh, your tongue is right here, like this. Ooh. Okay, so now if you want to pronounce that other sound, u, your tongue is the tip of the tongue is gonna touch the bottom teeth. If it doesn't touch, you cannot make that sound. Okay? So now you pull it back and you have that oo sound again. you touch, you have that U sound. So when you do that, make sure you have this shape U. Imagine you're whistling U, U. So I'm going to touch, I'm going to go back, and you're going to hear the difference. U, 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 U. Can you hear the difference? Let me know in the comments, okay, if you can hear the difference. But this is how we make the difference between U sound and U sound. Next is the letter E. So if you have the letter E in the middle of a word, all right, there's no accent on top, you're gonna pronounce this letter E, E, E. Okay? So I think the closest sound you have is the. It's not quite the same. So the is more relaxed. This one is E, E. Okay? So, for example, if I have the word small, we say petit, petit. Okay, so it's not going to be petit or piti. Okay, it's petit. Same with all the little words with two letters ending in E. In French, for example, le, te, je, me, ce. Okay, so all of those little words ending in E are going to be pronounced E. Okay, so then if you have an accent going upwards, okay, so it's going to be E, E. It's kind of like smiling, E, and you don't open your mouth. So for example, I have the word here. What do I have? Président. President. Président. Okay. Now, if the accent is going backwards like this, you're going to open your mouth more. For example, if I want to say father, it's going to be père in French. Père. Okay, it's more open. Okay. Now we have the nasal sounds. So these sounds are not easy, so I'm going to try to do my best to make it super simple. Okay, so we have three main nasal sounds. The first one is mm, mm. So it's nasal, so you should feel something in here. And we don't pronounce the N or the M. So the nasal sounds can have different spellings, okay? So for example, what do I have in there? Okay, the French president is Macron. So it's not Macron or Macron. Okay, so we don't pronounce the N. So you're going to say, remember, open Macron. Macron. That's how we pronounce the name of our French president. Then here I have, with OM, I have Comté. Comté. It's a type of cheese. So here, same, different spellings, same sound, small and round, like this. Okay, so that's for the first one. Now the second one is on. So I call it the drop jaw nasal sound. On, like this. It's very relaxed. Okay, it has different spellings, but same sound. For example, here I have, for in English you say lamp, but we say lampe. Okay. Then, for example, restaurant, we say restaurant. Then, for example, if I want to say biplane, I say en avion. En avion, if I connect. Okay. And last one I have with EM is emporter. Emporter. To take something away somewhere. Okay? Then the last nasal sound, and this one is everywhere because it has different spellings. So it's a very, very common sound. I mean, all of them are common sounds, but this one in particular, you're going to hear a lot. All right? So, for example, here I have un parfum. So we don't say parfume, okay, or un parfume. It's un parfum. Oh yeah, by the way, this sound, I call it the smiling nasal sound because if you don't smile, it's really hard to make that sound. Okay, so it's un, un. Okay, so un parfum. Then, important, we say important. Last one is the second nasal sound we saw, right? The drop drop. Then intelligent, we say intelligent. So see, it's the same word, but the pronunciation is different, right? We don't pronounce the N or the M. Next one, for train, we say train, un. Then, for example, I'm hungry, we say j'ai faim, un. And then, well, you have two other different spellings, but it's going to be the same. Okay, it's going to be that same ending, like this. Okay, so that's it for the nasal sounds. Another mistake I hear a lot is long vowels. So in English, you have long vowels and we don't, meaning that. So, for example, for each vowel, usually Americans pronounce them like really long, like, for example, um, prepare, air, right? We say prépare, prépare. It's a lot shorter in French. For example, if I want to say note, remember that word that I showed you? Note, O, O. It sounds like a wave to me. So O, but it's O for us. Okay, so each vowel in French has it's very short. Okay, the way we pronounce it's not that long vowel like in English. O, I, A, like that. Okay, it's O, I, A, E, E, like this. Okay, so be careful with that. So, next one is the letter R. Okay, so this is I think, the most difficult letter to pronounce because it's not in your language, in English, but I'm going to show you how to do it. So, how you do it. So, the problem with English is that when you pronounce the R, your tongue is going up. So, try to pronounce R now, R, and you see how your tongue is moving up, R. But if you do that, it makes it impossible to pronounce the French R because in French, when you pronounce r, so the tongue is always down. If it goes up, r, I cannot pronounce it. So I think that's why most Americans have this difficulty of pronouncing that letter. It's because you want to pronounce the French R just like you're pronouncing the English R. With your tongue up, but it's not possible. So when you pronounce that R, make sure that your tongue is down, okay? The tip of the tongue is down. It shouldn't go up. So it stays down. It's glued to the bottom teeth, all right? So then that sound comes from here, okay? Imagine a dog who's upset. How do you say it? Growling, I think you say. Imagine a dog growling, or maybe you're gargling. So it comes from, it's that sound, and in the beginning it sounds really strange because you're not used to that, but trust me, tongue down. Okay, sound, the sound is coming from here. Okay, so don't choke yourself. Okay, make sure the tongue is down. Then we have letters that we don't pronounce. So the very, very, very common letters we don't pronounce are the letter H. So I know in English you have this h sound, okay, like hospital or hotel, but we don't have that in French. So we're going to say hôpital, hôtel, okay, without the H. Then we have, let's see, okay, two letters, consonants that are very, very common at the end of words. It's T and S. So you're going to see those two a lot. Even if you have a a word using the plural form, we're not going to pronounce the S. Okay, forget the S. Okay, so for example, if I say, let's see, petit, right? So I have a T at the end. I don't pronounce it. Same thing if I say petit, but plural, I don't pronounce the T or the S. Now, if I say petite with an E at the end, which means it's feminine, then it's okay. I can pronounce the T. Because when I have the E at the end of the word and there's a consonant right before, I'm allowed to pronounce that T that I'm not supposed to pronounce when there's no E right after. Same thing with the S. Okay? And the last thing is, yeah, so the letter E, which is at the end of a word, right? We don't pronounce. And that's it. And finally, and this is the last one, don't forget the connections between article and noun, pronoun and verb. Remember, liaison. Okay? So that's what we call a liaison. A liaison is a connection that we make between two words, specific words. Okay? So, for example, you have un animal. So you're going to connect and say un animal, un animal. Okay? Or here I have des amis becomes des amis, des amis. Okay? Another one, les oranges, les oranges. Ça va? So then an example with pronoun and verb, that would be, for example, vous êtes, vous êtes. Okay? When you connect, vous êtes. I hope this video is going to help you to better understand French pronunciation. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments. Or if you would like me to make a video on a specific sound in French, just let me know, okay? And don't worry too much about it if you cannot make certain sounds right away. It takes time, all right? So I know it can be difficult. Even my English is not perfect. I'm trying my best, okay? But same for you. Try your best. And if you have any questions, just let me know.